Hello, everyone, and welcome to my A2 Pre-Intermediate English course. In this module, you will learn clauses of contrast, reason, and result as used with time connectors. At the end, you will get to practice what you just learned with a few sample exercises. Let's get started. Okay, we'll look briefly at this chart here, this table. So, um, examples of these clauses are however, although, because, and so. So for contrast, for example, we have although. Um, we can use that plus the subject and plus a verb. We don't use a comma after this. An example is we had fun, although we didn't like the hotel. So this expresses two different thoughts. Then we have however. So however can come after a semicolon, and then we have a comma after it. So for example, we had fun. However, we didn't like the hotel. So again, that's two thoughts of contrast. Then we have clauses of reason that start with because or because of. So because can we have a subject and a verb after that. For example, I'm fit because I work out. So it kind of expresses cause and effect. Okay, and then because of plus a noun. So for example, they canceled the concert because of the rain. And then the result clauses, they start with so, for example. So it comes after a comma, right? Then we have plus a subject and verb. For example, it was very late, so we took a taxi home. All right, so next page. Okay, clauses of contrast. Let's talk about however. However means but. It is normally used at the beginning of a sentence, before a comma, and after a full stop or period, or a semicolon. So, for example, we didn't like the hotel, period. However, comma, we had a good time. So, it means but. We had a good time. I would like to have a dog. However, my husband is allergic to dogs. So, two contrasting thoughts here. This one's positive, but this one here makes the situation different. My husband is allergic to dogs. How about although? So, although means despite or despite the fact that or but. It can be used at the beginning or in the middle of a sentence. Okay, so we do not use a comma after although. We use although plus subject plus verb. So an example is although he had a bad leg, he still won the game. You can see in this picture. And then I passed the exam, comma, although I hadn't studied. So and then next let's talk about clauses of reason. So we use because as one of them. So we use because plus a subject plus a verb as the main structure here. For example, we had to cancel the concert because it was raining. So this starts another clause, subject plus a verb, was raining. And then we have I didn't call you because I didn't want to worry you. So another one, a clause following that, because I didn't want to worry you. So negative here. All right. Okay, and then we have because of. So we use because of plus a noun in reason clauses. All right, so for example, we had to cancel the concert because of the rain. So why did we cancel? Because of the rain. The rain was the cause. All right, and then many shops had to close because of the economic situation. The economy was bad. All right, clauses of result and time connectors. We'll talk about this. For example, we have so, before, after, as soon as, once, when, and while. So the word so is the most common connector to express result. It is normally used in the middle of a sentence after a comma. So we'll see it these here. We worked hard all morning, comma. So I'm very tired now. And then we have the TV is very expensive, comma. So I don't think I'll buy it. So so it's like an example here, the result is I don't think I'll buy the TV because of it being very expensive. All right. Okay, so let's look at these time connectors closely here, before, after, while, etc. So we looked at before in the chart using before plus a noun or an ing verb. Uh, For example, I brush my teeth before breakfast. So before plus a noun, or else with the ing verb, be same sentence, but before having breakfast. So, and then we have before a subject and a verb. So I brush my teeth before subject verb. Okay, I have breakfast. Okay, and then you can see after right here, same structure, after plus a noun or ing verb. So I brush my teeth after breakfast, a noun here, or I brush my teeth after having breakfast. Same as up here, but it using after. All right. Okay. You can see this one here continuing with after. So after plus a subject and a verb. So I brush my teeth after I have, so subject, verb, and then breakfast. All right, so in consecutive actions, so one thing after another, we use then or after that. So for example, this one is not correct. I get up and have a shower. After, comma, I have breakfast. We want to say instead, I get up and have a shower. Then, or after that, I have breakfast. Okay. Then about while, we use while plus a subject and verb. So we have I read the newspaper while I was waiting. So subject and verb here, continuous uh, form. All right, then there's when, as soon as, or once. So they have a similar meaning here. So, for example, as soon as, or when, or once I get home, comma, I'll finish my homework. So, it almost sounds like um, future simple, but yes. All right, so before. So we can use before plus a noun and or ing verb, or we can use before plus subject plus verb. A few more examples according to the chart we saw. Before I have breakfast, comma, I read a few pages, a book or newspaper, who knows. Or we have before having breakfast, verb ing, I do some stretches. Or we have before breakfast, comma, I drink some coffee. So this is just before plus a noun here. Now let's talk about after. We can use after plus a noun or ing verb also, or we can use after plus subject plus verb. Um, so, for example, I smoke a cigarette after dinner. So that's the noun, or after having dinner, or after I have dinner, subject and verb. All right. Okay, when we're talking about consecutive actions, we use then or after that, or this should be an or, but not after. So, for example, I got up and had a shower. After, comma, I made breakfast. So that's what's wrong here. We need to say after that. So we have the same sentence here. I got up and had a shower. Then, or after that, comma, I made breakfast. Okay, now we'll talk about while. We use while plus a subject plus verb to talk about actions happening at the same time. This means simultaneously. That's a long word here. So, for example, I read the newspaper while I was waiting. So, two actions happening here, read the newspaper and was waiting. And then we have while I was resting, comma, I listened to some music. Again, two actions here. Note that when the clause here starts with a time connector, we always use a comma after that to separate the two. All right. Okay, let's look at as soon as, when, or once. As soon as, when, and once have a similar meaning. So as soon as means immediately when. So as soon as, or when, or once I get home, I'll finish my homework, like we saw in the chart. All right, here is a common mistake. We use the present simple and not will to express the future after before, after, as soon as, when, and once. So here's an example. When I will get home, I'll call you. So in this type of clause here, we can't use will. When I get home, present simple, I'll call you. So, all right. Next one. Okay, so we use a comma after the first part of the sentence when we start with any of these, before, after, while, as soon as, etc. But if we use these time connectors in the second part of the sentence, we do not use a comma. So we'll see these last examples. Before I go to bed, comma, I brush my teeth. And then turning it around, I brush my teeth before I go to bed. No comma here. And then as soon as you get home, comma, give me a call. And then we switched it around, give me a call as soon as you get home. And then we've got, I will prepare the dessert after we finish dinner. No comma before after. And then after we finish dinner, comma, I will prepare the dessert. All right, well, let's move on to a few sample exercises and get some fun practice in. Okay, so we're going to choose from the drop-down menu a few of these, and with the correct time connectors and these connect or conjunctions. Or all right, so number one, we couldn't find a taxi, so we have because, so, but, or although we walked home. So which one makes sense? Okay, so it sounds like a result because we couldn't find a taxi, but it starts with this. So if we choose the second one, so that would be the correct answer. So we walked home as a result. All right, number two. So we have it was very cold. So starting with but, so, because, or although. She wasn't wearing a coat. Okay, so it looks like a contrast clause here. So if we started with although, we choose although, that would be correct. Although it was very cold, she wasn't wearing a coat. Okay, number three. I woke up, there was a noise. So because, so, although, or but. So, all right. So if we chose the first one, because, that would be the correct one. So that would be a result clause because there was a noise. And this is why I woke up. Or I guess I would say reason. Yeah. All right, number four. I called him. His mobile was turned off. So we have but, because, or so. All right, so got a clause of contrast. So if we chose the first one, but, that makes the most sense. I called him, but his mobile was turned off. So that means however. Okay, let's go to the next one and try a few. Okay, so multiple choice. So we need to buy a new car. We can't afford it right now. So choices although, so, or however. So which looks like it. Okay, so we know that this is a one sentence. This begins a new one. So we can't use although. I know that. So if you chose option C, however, that is correct. You can start a sentence with however as a clause or a connector of contrast. However, we can't afford it right now. All right, number two, he is very rich and famous. He lives a very normal life. So, although, however, or because, which looks correct. Okay. So, if you chose the first one, option A, although, that would be correct. It's although he is very rich and famous, he lives a very normal life. So, that's like even though or despite. All right, number three, they had to cancel the concert. So, because of or however the bad weather. So, which makes sense. So, it's got a result here, a result clause. So, if you chose option B, because of, right, that can be followed by a noun. That would be correct. All right, one more here. We'll go out. It stops raining. Although, while, or as soon as. Okay, so we talked about as a time connector, like when or once. So if you chose option C, as soon as, that would be correct. All right. That's good practice on that. We'll do a few on this third one using the choices from the box. Okay, so we have what or whatever connector. I arrived home. I put on my pajamas and lie down on the sofa. Okay, so can choose between after, as soon as. Uh, so we'll see which one. Okay, I would, if I were you, let's try as soon as. Soon as I arrived home. Okay, I was exhausted and I wasn't very hungry, comma, so which one goes here? I decided not to have anything for dinner. So this would be a result. So, and if we use so, it can be used twice, but let's try so. That sounds good. So I decided not to have anything for dinner. I just got a glass of milk from the fridge. 3 starts with one of these. I lay on the sofa and I turn on the TV. So, um, we're gonna do after that because it's a sequence of actions here. Um, so, oops, after that. Okay, comma, I lay on the sofa and I turned on the TV. All right, well, I know some of these can be confusing, but because you listen well, I believe you did well on these exercises. All right. Well, I can help you speak English with more confidence. I'm TESOL certified. I teach native U.S. English. I'm experienced in online tutoring, and I work with all learning levels and most age groups. So, whether you need help with grammar, speaking, vocabulary, or writing, or any other area, you've come to the right place. Well, thank you for watching my video and happy learning.